And welcome in, everybody. Happy Sunday Fun Day. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. I am one half of your host and virtual bartender, Mr. Nick Teodoro. Joining me, as always, is my tag team partner in life, my wife, Miss Nicole. What are you having this evening?
Oh, me as usual. Tito's, orange, crayon. Mr. Nick, what are you drinking? Our three things for the show.
Well, I'm switching it up. I'm having a Cabernet, but it's the Josh Cabernet. So we're doing things a little differently. Special occasion on Sunday Fun Day. Well, The Rock has returned. CM Punk stands tall at Hell in a Cell, and Liv Morgan has recruited Raquel Rodriguez. It is Sunday, October 6th, 2024. This is the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. And welcome back in, everybody, to the Nick Club Wrestling Happy Hour. Happy Sunday Fun Day. We are again recapping WWE Bad Blood from last night from Atlanta, Georgia. Nikki, before we get started, any overall Bad Blood takeaways?
I think this is another solid show from WWE. I don't think they've had any, bad pay-per-views this year. Hi, Lise.
Hey, Lisa.
Hey, no, it was a good, another solid pay-per-view.
Yeah, I think a lot of, again, they started with a bang and they ended with a banger in a lot of ways. So it continued a lot of momentum, and a lot of storylines, I think, are gaining even more traction. So we open with, well, we always like to open with the ladies. We love the ladies here, where Raquel Rodriguez has returned to WWE. So, if you didn't catch it, let's catch you up on how Raquel has returned back to WWE.
She's a little runaway.
And Raquel Rodriguez is back, and alongside her good friend,
former tag team partner,
Nikki. Take us on this journey. How did we get here?
Well, I've been loving these entrance tracking shots. So for Liv and Dom, they had like this little vignette promo shot of them in the lowrider driving around Atlanta to get to the arena. And then Dom pulls into the actual rampway. And then Michael Cole's like, oh, you can buy this now at like Target. I was like, of course, they're slinging, the lowriders, like the Lucha Libre lowrider.
Yeah, there's already a toy. They already found it. Well, oh, okay. Well, no.
No.
Well, no, it sets the marketing tone. I don't know. I don't want to get ahead of it.
Yeah. And then Rhea comes out, and then she has the Dom Mysterio toilet paper that you can buy on WWEshop.com. And she took a piece off and pretended to like wipe her tears, and then put it in the shark cage for Dom. Was that what you were talking about?
Yeah. Because they've been selling, like that was
the toilet paper. And then Michael Cole's like, you can wipe your tears, you can wipe your makeup, you can wipe other things. And Corey's like, what? So yeah, Dom Mysterio toilet paper. And then they kind of ruin it because like Michael Cole says on commentary that not only is Dom claustrophobic, but he's also afraid of heights. And then Rhea Ripley grabs the microphone and was like, oh yeah, you're also afraid of heights. Raise the cage. And I was like, well, thanks, Cole.
Yeah, I think they were just, again, they're trying to hype up the fact that I guess
Dom's like petrified, but it's just like, unless it was just for the live crowd only. I don't, it's weird.
Yeah, and maybe, and especially because, the spots that happen later on, but it wasn't like too much of a, what's the word I want to use? Like, crazy precarious situation that he found himself in. But anyway, I digress. Go on.
But then the match gets underway, and of course it starts off hot. Rhea obviously quickly gains control. And then they're quickly on the outside, and I love this move that Liv goes for a kick. Rhea catches her, puts her on her shoulders, and then she does like the front slam into the apron, which that's becoming one of her Rhea's signature like slam. She did that to Carlito a couple weeks ago when she put him on her shoulders and then threw him into the apron. So that's becoming her thing. And I love this comment from Corey on commentary. He's like, "Don't get me wrong," like, because of course he's supposed to be like the color, like the baddie of the commentators, and he's like all about Liv and Dom, and he's like, "Don't get me wrong, like I want Rhea to be happy. She deserves to be happy. Maybe she'll meet a muscly man, maybe Australian." It's like, shout out to Buddy. But it's the story of Liv. Once they go back to the ring, like Liv is just like attacking the leg because of the knee injury the other week. So and then she gets her in a half crab at one point. And then there's more from Cole. He says, "Dom has spent more time behind bars than his rap sheet." And Corey goes, "How dare you?" And he goes in his Dusty's voice, "He did hard times, daddy." And he's like, "This cage is the worst. At least the other one, he got 3 hots and a cot." And it's like, oh God. But I love Corey and Cole on commentary. But then we get into like the kind of more meaty parts of the match. When we talked about
Corey plays a better like devil's advocate heel announcer than I think Wade Barrett does. And like Wade feigns it a little bit more.
I think they're just different vibes, obviously. I don't know.
But
I don't know, I like them both.
I just think I don't know. Corey plays it better, but I digress.
But,
go on.
So this is the part we talked about this last night, and she's done this before. This is when she does the sunset flip bomb into the barricade, and she throws Rhea into the barricade. It looks super good. Then she gets Rhea back to the ring, and she does that beautiful she stands on the second rope. She does a cross chop back to Rhea and does off the top rope code breaker.
Yes.
Which looked phenomenal.
Yeah, she does. There's 2 moves in this match early on that I thought, Liv does phenomenal. That sunset flip into the barricade, she does well. I don't know if it's because her like size, like she's relatively shorter, and like how she does it on the bigger opponents or the taller opponents. That and the code breaker are 2 moves that she does really, really well. And I think because I don't know if it's at the angle too, like they kind of get spiked usually by the way she does it, so it looks really well. And
I think it's really good because like Rhea sells for her, so she makes the moves look fantastic. Like when she was doing code breakers on Ronda, or the Oblivion on Ronda, doesn't look as good as when she does them on Rhea. Speaking of, then she goes to do the Oblivion to Rhea, and Rhea legit flips out of it, which we haven't seen before, but it was fun. And then she did Liv does the crucifix bomb that I love that she does. And apparently, according to Corey Graves, it now has a name. It's called the Homewrecker.
That's great.
So I really wrote in my notes, love it. So then she gets Rhea, she does a little shimmy, and she tries to do the 3 amigos. Of course, then Rhea blocks the third one, and she hits this release. I don't know what else to call it, but a release razor's edge. Like she has her up, and she just kind of tosses.
Yeah, it's a toss. Yeah, it's a you know what it's actually called?
They called it
Hernandez
something.
used to call it the border toss. In Impact, Hernandez would call it the border toss.
Corey called it something. It was, and I don't remember what it was.
Shout out to Hernandez.
Well,
he's a random guy.
No, he was in the news recently that he's not a good guy.
No. Well, I haven't heard that one. But
any Hoosers. So release, Razor's Edge, whatever you want to call it. And then at this point, they pan to Dom and he's open the gate. And I said last night, I was like, did I miss it? Did they show him playing with the lock? Apparently not. They didn't. But Cole yells, did he pick the lock? Did he learn that in prison? So at this point, the door's just open. And they pan back into the ring, and now Rhea's on the top rope. She does the Eddie shimmy, and then looks around and does the yeet and does a splash. Da, 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 da.
So she's taunting him this whole time while he's
So she does the splash, and then she turns the splash into the prison break, which I don't know why they're still calling it that, because she's not with Dom anymore when she does that submission move that she does.
The choke?
No, she's the knee. She has a leg up. Like, kind of...
Oh, yeah, the triangle, like,
Yeah.
figure, weird, like, inverted figure 4 Texas Cloverleaf type deal.
Yeah, but they called it the prison break, but I don't know why they still... I don't know. Any hoosers. Then they get out of the ring at this point, and she hits the riptide on Liv underneath the shark cage. And then Dom does this forward tumble roll and rolls out of the cage, and everyone's like, Nick Speller was like, "Oh!" But
Yeah, was that supposed to happen?
Like, that was real. I was like, oh boy. But now he had his foot chained to the cage, so now he's just hanging there like a human pinata.
And
so at this point, he's hanging there. Rhea goes. She hit the riptide, so Liv is out. She goes into the ring, and the referee has that stupid
ref cam.
So she goes to him. She's like, 1 minute. I have some unfinished business. And he's like, no, you're right. Like, it's okay.
You deserve that.
You deserve it.
Which ref ever gets to say that?
This whole this whole match, like, Corey is shitting on this referee, and I was like, well, I don't know whose cereal he shit in, but Corey tears into him this whole time. But he's like, yeah, go ahead, go. You have I have unfinished business. Go ahead. So she goes out and gets the kendo stick, and then goes over and starts hitting Dom. And this is where things kind of go off the rails a little bit. So what the consensus is, obviously, Raquel comes back. What they think she came in early, because at this point, Rhea's hitting Dom, and then Dan Engler, the referee, comes out. And then you see him in front of the cage, and then Raquel comes out, hits Rhea, but like into the referee. So now he's just like, I was supposed to pretend like I didn't see you, but you literally pushed her into me.
Yeah, so it could have been potentially a botched return for Raquel, but regardless, Raquel's hiding out and potentially is the piece of business maybe that Finn Balor was talking about on Raw.
Yeah. So then, like, she throws Rhea back in the ring. She hits her Tejano bomb. Then she kind of pulls Liv to cover her, but the bell has already rung, because I think she was supposed to come in and hit the bomb. Put Liv over her.
Yeah, drape her over as the heavy and give her a pinfall win. But now it seems that she loses via disqualification, but retains. Yeah. So now that begs the question, which I'm going to ask. So someone's been recruited, I guess, by Liv Morgan or Finn Balor. So is Raquel Rodriguez in the Judgment Day?
I'm going to go with yes. Because again, like, it has to be the thing that alluded to on Monday when Finn told Dom, like, tell Liv I got it covered. Or it's taken care of, whatever he said. And then Raquel comes back.
Yeah, but taken care of could just mean I hired somebody out to take care of our business. Like, that happens all the time, where if you take care of that, like, MJF does that all the time.
Yeah, but if they didn't have the history, like, I'm pretty sure they were tag team champs together.
No, they were, but again, it is a friendship that they have. But the question is, like, is it just a relationship they have? But is it, was she just hired to come in to help out? Because
no, I think at this point, I don't think it'd be a one and done. I think maybe it's like a Carlito thing. Like, you can come and hang out with us for a little bit, and then you'll be initiated. Like, was she like a prospect? If this was like a motorcycle club,
you don't get patched in.
Yeah, exactly. That's what it is. Like, that's what Carlito was. And now, like, when Rhea and Priest left, now he's full fledged. So now Raquel's going to be their new prospect. And I think it's also interesting. At the press conference, Triple H called her Raquel Gonzalez, and that's what she was in NXT. And then they brought up her name, because of course they have to change their names. So, and I don't recall what they said on commentary, or is it like now they're going to shift her back to Gonzalez, or is it just a slip of the tongue of Triple H? Because on Friday, the promo with the women's WWE Championship, Tiffy called Bailey Pam, and then Bailey like tried to not laugh. So it was, I don't know if it was like a slip from Triple H or they're changing her name back, but I guess we'll see next and tomorrow.
Yeah, for Raw, it'll be a very interesting Raw, nonetheless. But so then it begs a question, I guess, within this storyline, what's next for Rhea Ripley in the Judgment Day? In the storyline is now, does Rhea go after Raquel? Is Raquel the interim between Rhea and Liv for a little bit? Is there some other wrinkle? Like, what is the next evolution of this? We've seen the tag match, right? We've seen the mixed tag. We now seen technically the Shark Cage, but Liv and Rhea one-on-one for the second time in 3 months, 3 PLEs. What's next in this?
I think you have a cool down period. I think Rhea and Raquel are going to have some matches, and then you kind of have some time. So I know we're not really, unless in our 3 things, Triple H announced that Saudi Arabia crown jewel belt. So Liv is going to be in that match. So you have Rhea and Raquel over here, and then Liv can focus on essentially probably Nia. And then does she lose to Nia, and that's like Rhea comes back and it was like comes back into going into Royal Rumble being the season.
True.
And then getting done what's happening at Survivor Series, and then if they're doing War Games matches, is that less like one-on-one matches? It is so weird the double heel.
I know. I don't like heel versus heel. Face versus face works, but heel versus heel doesn't. I don't know. To me, yeah, I guess. Maybe with the Crown Jewel PLE being the crossover to some extent, maybe this cools it or gives it a little bit of a
breathing room.
Yeah, a life for an extra month to just delay it and kick the can down the road.
Because then when Triple H made the announcement, Cole was like, well, that could be, Liv or whatever. And Corey Graves was like, that's 4 weeks away. 4 weeks in WWE's an eternity. He's like, anything can happen. So I don't know if it's Corey just saying, like, making sure it's not predictable, but, like, who knows? Can Tiffy cash in? Could Tiffy cash in at Saudi Arabia? I wouldn't want it to be on, like, a random SmackDown. I'd want it to be on a thing, like a bigger pay-per-view.
But then it would be Tiffy lit. Like, see, that's the thing.
No, but does she cash in? Because it's not, I guess it's because it's not for the belt. But could she cash in and it's for the belt? I don't know. I guess we're getting too far away from our.
Well, then there would be 3 heels in the match.
Oh, yeah. Tiffy's turning face, babe. They're turning Tiffy face. You and this face. What are you, like?
I don't know.
Old man smothered.
The briefcase is going to turn her face.
1920. I want my face's face. I want my heely's heel. There's no in between.
Nikki's saying the briefcase will turn her face.
I think she's already turning face. I think they're already in the process of that.
Maybe she's just popular. I just think she's good, and that's what makes her popular. Like whether you're face or heel, if you're good, people like you.
Again, because it doesn't matter if you're face or.
Oh, gosh. Well, I digress. So
move on, Pickle.
We will move on. So our second takeaway for Bad Blood. You knew it was going to start or finish the PLE, but it opened the PLE. CM Punk is now victorious, ends up still standing after Hell in a Cell.
Oh, did you
I'm still standing better than I ever did. Looking like a true survivor, feeling like a little kid. And I'm still standing after all this time, picking up the pieces of my life without you on my mind. I'm still standing, yeah. I'm still standing, yeah.
I love that song.
Still standing. CM Punk emerges from Hell in a Cell victorious. Nikki?
I had a lot of feelings about going into this match. And then feelings about it yesterday, and then feelings about rewatching it, because I rewatch everything before we come down here. I think this is match of the night. I think this is the match of the trilogy by far. I don't think
It better be as a closing blow.
Again, it should have went on last. This should have went on last. I don't think, maybe obviously because I'm the main event, because who has to show his face. I don't think, I think it was the Bayley Nia match suffered from coming after this match. Again, you need the cool down match, but I don't think any match is like, I love the Liv Rhea match. I did like Damian Finn. Nia's sloppy. But no one was going to, they set such a bar that it kind of, that's why the pay-per-view was solid. Because I think if they didn't have to follow this match, I think maybe would have thought better of them, if that makes sense.
Yeah, fair. Both the Bayley Nia and?
I think, because, again, they were good again, I feel like rewatching, I feel like Priest and Finn was a quick match. Was how it's only 5 matches, but they started early because of UFC and then all this other stuff. But rewatching, I felt like Finn Damian was a quick match.
I don't know. Because the themes are very similar for that and the Liv match that was going to happen. So you knew more of the drama was going to happen in that. So I think it had to be kind of a shorter deal. But I don't know. But no, I agree with you that this was the match of the night. I think the theatrics that happened in what's our main event and was the main event overshadow it to some extent, but this by far in ring was definitely the match of the night. I mean, a very old school Hell in a Cell story being told in this match. It
should have been, because again, they were 53 Hell in a Cells, and probably half of those shouldn't have been in a Hell in a Cell. But this felt like a culmination, the final act of this feud. And they just started off hot and didn't really get off the pedal. And then the stumbling that they did, and they're both tired, they're both stumbling around, is this is how it should be. It's you're going to have to kill me. You have to take every ounce of me from me to win. I am a little sad pants that neither of them wore white trunks. But that's okay. I wanted CM Punk to kind of dress like he did for the MJF dog collar match, the white the white shorts from Ring of Honor, and come out. I know that's kind of already done, but a girl can dream. But I think this is kind of more innovative, that using, because I love that they didn't get out of the cell. I love that they didn't go to the top of the cell. This was just it.
Well, we were talking about that. We were wondering if there would be an elbow drop or something, or some sort of spot that would happen from here. But I think with it opening the show, you can't do that.
But also, could it make sense? They're not, Punk does an elbow drop, but they're not high flyers.
Right. No, but you don't need to be a high. Neither is Rikishi. He went off the top of the cell.
Yeah, well, he was slammed, pushed.
Man, it doesn't matter. That's what I'm saying. That was a big spot, but not that it needed it. It didn't need it.
It didn't need it, and I'm glad they didn't do it. And I love that they use it the shot you have now. I don't, when it's again, it's not fresh in my memory that someone broke the leg off the table and used that as a weapon. The table box, the toolbox came out, and it was Wrench City, bitch.
I never seen.
Usually it's
a wrench be used so much in a match.
And I think it felt different. This match felt very different, and Triple H said instant classic. This felt so different than any TLC Hell in a Cell match that we've seen in the past 10 years, I would say.
Well, so yeah, no, for sure. And actually, we talked about it being throwbacks and a lot of old storytelling, but I was talking about this last night as we were watching it live, and I was with the wrench, it reminded me of the old, and I have to find this. I think it was Magnum TA, and I'm pretty sure it was the Road Warriors. I have to look it up and find it. But they use the spike from the jacket, from the shoulder pads on Magnum TA's eye, or maybe it's Dusty Rhodes. Actually, no, it's Dusty. Maybe it's Dusty Rhodes now. I'm thinking about it. And just the wrench, I never usually you get hit once with a wrench. I think Kane was the last person I remember using a wrench for anything. It was way back when it was Vader, in the Attitude Era. It's the only thing I remember was a wrench. And in this match, they used a wrench a lot.
Yeah, no, I think this match is very much chef kiss. I will try to go quickly through the
Hold on, look at Lisa's comment
Oh
in
yes,
here.
please.
Lisa, well, like Hunter said, this is what Hell in a Cell is all about. Just beating the hell out of each other, no high flying, no big spots. Other than that, that's what they did to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, starting off hot, they pull out the toolbox, wrenches, they use a table leg, early Claymore on the outside, and then Drew picked up Punk and threw him like a flippin' lawn dart into the cage. And then Cell. I'm going to go back and forth between saying cage and Cell, you know what I mean? But of course, then this busts Punk open, and I wish they had this photo because it was like, this is cinema. So they pan back to Drew, and he sees Punk bleeding. And I'm not going to be able to do this right, but he like kind of like his eyes get wide, and he turns.
Do you want me to zoom in?
No, Jesus, now.
Hold on, just the two.
Fucking dare.
All right.
No. So he like his eyes get wide. He turns his head like like a dog, like kind of like Kane used to do because he said it was off his German Shepherd. Like Jackson like turns his head and he has like this Grinch like Tim Curry smile just comes on his face, and it was beautiful. I wish we can get a photo of that, but go back and watch it. It was great. Ba-da-bum-bum-bum. And then he stomps on Punk's head on the steps. And then they're back in the ring, and that's when Drew uses a wrench and he's like digging it into his head. And then Drew, I will always love because Drew's what you said last night, 6'7", 6'5".
6'6", I think. We'll go 6'6" to split the difference.
Split the difference. He does the most beautiful kip up because I just like he kips up and it's just like his hair flops and it's beautiful. I always love his kip ups. And then he goes, there's a lot of he does a Claymore, then Punk rolls out of the ring, and that's when this girl Punk gets the toolbox itself and bashes Drew, and then it cuts Drew open, and I don't know, I'm assuming they bleeded. I don't know if he went too deep or too whatever, but he was gushing. Gushing, and then it looked like
Punk was bad. Well, they both were
like I don't know if he was supposed to hit him that hard or just like he get like they gigged it or whatever, but he was gushing. And at that point, Punk was on the top rope with the toolbox and he like fumbled it. So then he gets off the top rope, grabs it, hits Drew with it again, then gets on the top rope and hits him. So it's like that's 3 headshots with the toolbox in quick succession, and I don't think there was supposed to be 3. I think it was probably supposed to be 2, but he dropped it. It was like, all right, I'll smack it and we'll do it again. And then he does then because now Drew's all woozy, and then he's in the corner, and then Punk hits the high running knee that he does into the bulldog, and then Cole called it patented CM Punk. I was like, oh, he's not vintage, it's patented.
Well, he's just changing up his vocabulary. He's Chris Jericho's not the only person that can renovate,
reinvent,
whatever. Renovate himself too.
So at this point, he hit the bulldog. He's patented. He calls for the GTS. He hits it. Drew rolls out. Then it goes to another Claymore. Punk kicks out. Then he goes to hit another Claymore that turns into a sharpshooter. And then Drew gets out of the sharpshooter with the wrench. In the ring with the wrench with Mr. McIntyre. And at one point, the ref...
That's what it was. Yeah, it was Clue. Nice Clue reference. There we go.
I mean, like, we had Lord of the Rings.
Lisa likes renovate. She appreciates renovate himself.
At one point, the referee, Sean Patton, gets a towel. I think they probably shoved it through one of the little holes, but he goes to, like, wipe Drew's face, and then Drew, like, pie faces him, like, nah. Like, get out of here. And then they're on, this is, I don't know if you want to say this part, but they're on the apron, and they're on opposite sides of the ring post, and Drew, like, deadlifts him into this suplex brainbuster through the table onto the floor, and Punk doesn't move for another probably 3 to 4 minutes afterwards.
It was very, oh my gosh, who's the guy, who am I thinking about now, that grabs him from... Is it Lashley that used to do it? They used to do it from like the apron and then all the way to the top. I think it was Lashley. It was someone, maybe Brian Cage actually does it in AEW. There's somebody who does it. It's going to drive me crazy. But yeah, he stalled enough. And for me, this move in general, this move in general is very risky to do, like, because of the cage and how close you have no margin for error, in my opinion. So this move, to me, was one of the biggest spots in the match, probably one of the biggest spots of the night. So to me, every PLE that we review, we have our what we call our Big Nick energy moments. This, for me, was my Big Nick energy moment. Drew McIntyre superplexing, brainbustering CM Punk through a table. Yes, that was my Big Nick energy moment
Oh my
of
god.
the night. Anyway, go on.
So at this point, Punk's still laid out. And then Drew, this is when the fatigue of the brutality of this match is starting to set in. So Drew, for again, like the 4 minutes that Punk is down, I guess trying to save Punk, he's trying to get the steel steps into the ring. And he's trying to pick them up, and he's like selling the lower back, and he's trying to pick them up. And then finally he like slides them underneath the bottom rope. And I was like, why do you do that the whole time? But again, it's cinema, selling. Yeah. So he finally gets...
Well, he's supposed to be strong, not necessarily smart.
Yeah, but even he was trying to lift it, and he's selling the lower back. So he finally gets the steel steps in. Punk gets into the ring too, and then magically hits a GTS. Drew kicks out of that. Then he picks CM Punk up and does the white noise onto the ring step. Punk kicks out at 2. I believe at this point, I believe he tried to, I didn't put it in my notes, he tried to do this, I just wrote it. He tried to do the future shock DDT, but then, was it that? Or, anywho's, Punk gets him
I don't know. I only watched it one time.
Punk gets him into the Anaconda Vice. And I don't know how he got his arm, and I didn't write what move got him into that. But anywho's, he's in the Anaconda Vice. He goes to try to grab the wrench again to hit him, but Punk grabs it and then hits him with it instead. I did like what you're showing now.
Mm-hmm.
And at this point, Punk stands up, and he has the wrench in his hand, like he's gonna like bash Drew with it. And at this point, like Drew's like kind of like no, like pleading, and like Cole's like
he's begging for forgiveness.
Yeah, and that's like
doing
Cole.
the heelish thing, which I guess Drew's the heel in this.
Yeah.
Apparently.
So then Cole's trying to sell it, like, oh, he said he wasn't gonna pray to God, he wasn't gonna pray to Satan, he was gonna pray to CM Punk, and that's what he's doing. And then boop, low blow. And then of course Cole's like, that's legal because it's a Hell in a Cell, and that's why the ref can let it go. And I was like, how many low blows happen all the time? Oh, I missed it. So before the low blow, Punk yells, you're going to die. And then he low blow. At this point, after low blow, Punk is selling the low blow. Drew goes to under the outside, goes under the ring and pulls out a bag. And everyone's thinking, you know, Hell in a Cell, thumbtacks. Nah. It is beads. It is a teenage girl, 5-year-old dream of.
Or are they Lucky Charms? Now I'm remembering Austin Powers back in the day. They're always trying to get my Lucky Charms. Do you remember
You've been quoting Austin Powers way too much for my liking. The past.
That's a great movie. I don't know why you know.
For you to quote daily to me, I don't think so.
Not daily. I didn't have just
girl.
Not daily. These are lies. These are all lies to our audience out there. These are all lies. Anyway, go on with facts, not those lies.
Dumps the beads. Then he goes for the Claymore, but then like Punk like sidesteps, and this is so brutal. So I don't know if he was supposed to flat back onto the beads or flat back onto the steel steps, but he does both. And like basically his upper part of his body hits the mat and the beads. His lower part, basically right, I would say his tailbone hits the stairs.
Which this like I have to admit, and I know you're not a fan of what he's done lately, but like somebody who does this really well is Jericho with the tacks and like all the things he's been doing with the dice at like Double or Nothing and things like that. Like this was such a neat storytelling take on it, because this is what this whole story has kind of been about. So the fact that this was just like, it was just a nice nod.
Oh, great. No, I thought it was great. And I guess like, because Jericho does it at every match. This felt so fitting and so different for like anything like WWE's honestly done lately. And it's just the crux of the story was that stupid bracelet that had AJ and Larry on it. So beads, not botched, but missed Claymore, and then this was so gross. So CM Punk goes and he puts, I don't know, does he wrap the chain around his knee?
He wraps it around it.
So he wraps
it's actually his, you know what's kind of weird is, I don't know why I thought of this, but like it's kind of like a chastising thing with the movie The Da Vinci Code. There's like the one like assassin guy who like does that, and he wraps his leg, and just reminded me of that. And I'm just like movies that you think about, and like just that movie Da Vinci, like just wrapping it, and it's like pain. It's good. So, don't cut off the circulation.
So he wraps it, but then because there's blood all over the mat at this point from both of them. Then he just scrapes the mat to get all the beads, and then shoves them in Drew's mouth. And I was like, but then hits the GTS.
I'd be so paranoid about choking.
But you can tell, I think, because when he put them in, like, Drew immediately spit them back out. Because when he hit the GPS, nothing went flying out of his mouth. I think he spit all those out. It was like, you're gross. But again, 1, 2, 3. And then at this point, because last night when I came upstairs and I saw CM Punk gasping for air on the ramp with the oxygen mask. But rewatching it, he's like in the ring, he's doing the poses, he's doing a thing like, I beat you, blue, 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 gets out of the cage, slams the door shut, like, I'm done with you. And then it kind of hits.
Fights the door.
And then he
won 2 matches this
time.
time.
And then he takes 2 steps and then he's like, oh, I fallen and I can't get up. And it's just like, you were just in the ring celebrating for a good minute or two. And now all of a sudden you're up the ramp and you're like, And then they do the oxygen mask, and he takes the oxygen mask for a couple minutes, not like a minute. And then he's like, I need to call my wife. And then like gets up and walks away. I was like, that was weird. I don't know if we necessarily. And then they cut to Drew McIntyre, and Drew was like crying in the ring, and I was like, I picked Drew to win this match. I think he's CM Punk. He's CM Punk. You can plug him anywhere. You can put him against Cody Rhodes tomorrow, and no one will bet an eyeball. I feel like Drew kind of needed this win, and I don't know where Drew's going to. I don't know if that's one of your questions.
So, yeah. Way to go. Where does Drew McIntyre now?
No, and it makes me sad. Like,
go from here.
He was the MVP. He carried this feud when Punk was, rehabbing and injured, and or did he get surgery on this one? Whatever. But Drew on Twitter X, whatever you want to call it, carried this feud, and he didn't win. And I don't know where he goes from here. It makes me so sad because Drew was phenomenal in this.
Well, I said because Gunther's a champion, I think Punk and Gunther are getting at least one match, and this is a way to kind of do it. And so the face had to win this feud. So Punk is, I guess, viewed as a face, and I know how you feel about that. But Punk had to win this match. So yeah, to McIntyre, I don't know, like. Because Rollins just came back and presumably is feuding with Reed now on Raw. So, I mean, like who's a top face that he could be? I'm trying to think of
Jay.
If you move him back to the mid-card for the Intercontinental title, that would be such a waste.
Well, here's the thing: if you want to put your tinfoil hats on, kiddies. So, again, listening and watching everything that posts this, someone had said on the interwebs that since Gunther and Goldberg had their little skirmish, do you have Gunther lose to Sammy? Sammy goes on to Saudi Arabia to do that belt thing, and then you have Gunther Goldberg at Saudi. Because then if Sammy becomes that face champion, then Drew can go after Sammy.
Yeah.
I personally hate everything about that.
I mean, if you're going to
tell you when I read out
if you're going to do Gunther Goldberg, you might as well have Gunther defend the title against Goldberg.
So he can take it and ruin him like he did.
No. So you could beat him like others have in the past. Name redacted for certain documentaries that you don't like. That we may or may not have reviewed yesterday. So
I just he ruined the Fiend because he's like, I'm a good guy. I have to look a good guy in front of my son. Well, now your son's like a teenager. Oh, don't get me started on Goldberg.
But I don't know. I McIntyre.
But it's scary.
Where do you all think he can go from here. Let us know in the comments below. I don't know how. I mean, it's a big loss for him. Who's a top? Does he? No, I would want to keep him away from Braun Breaker in any capacity right now for any sort of feud. There's no the top faces on Raw are probably Jay, Braun Breaker, Sammy, and Rollins.
Do you give him some time off? Have him come back at Royal Rumble, win the Royal Rumble again, and go after. Actually, have a WrestleMania moment.
Not win the Royal Rumble, no, but maybe he comes back. Maybe you give him time off. To your point, that might be a fair way of just keeping him afloat around while he lost momentum because he's cooled off. So the best way to do is leave him off to you for a little bit and have him come back in some other capacity when you've built up some other stars that he can go with. Like, who knows, well, not necessarily Royal Rumble, but but in January or February now, like where everyone's at by then. Who emerges, who gets hot at the right time. It could be Sami Zayn could be in a whole different path. Like, to your point, he could win the belt. You just never know. He could get that white hot heat that he had a couple years ago when he was in the bloodline, and we thought he might even overtake Roman at that one point in time. So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. The other question is, what's next now for Punk?
The rumor was it's supposed to be him and Gunther at Survivor Series, but now this whole Saudi Arabia Bill Goldberg thing throws me all in a loop. Because then, if you don't I know this is sad to say, but if Sammy takes a belt off Gunther, then Sammy can lose to Cody. I don't think you can have who would win Cody versus Gunther.
Well, you could have someone interfere.
But then you have a babyface versus a babyface. But
no, two baby faces can do it. You just can't do heel versus heel. You just can't do heel versus heel. I just can't see it. So I don't know. For Punk, I think he probably has to face Gunther at some point in time to help give Gunther another solid title defense. But yeah, in terms of feuds, I mean, Rollins is still looming. Seth Rollins is still looming. Like, we still haven't seen the Seth Punk match that's supposed to happen.
I think that would probably circle back. I think that would be like a Royal Rumble. Something will happen in the Rumble to lead to Mania, because that was supposed to be the original match for them at Mania. Do you have them maybe main event night one, so Punk can get his Mania moment or his main event?
Yeah, that could be a legitimate. Yeah, so could Punk then? Could he win the Rumble? He could win the Rumble. There's a lot of possibilities, but what do you all think? What's next for CM Punk? Who's his next opponent? Moving on, we're not really.
Or is he champion and the Royal Rumble winner takes the belt off him at Mania? Like, he just wants the main event when he didn't say it doesn't necessarily have to win one. Win at Mania. He can put someone over at Mania.
That's fair. Yeah.
But then we want to get Seth Punk because I see that's something like a match.
We're getting Seth Punk.
I want that, but I don't necessarily want that maybe necessarily at Mania. Because I want either one of them. Like, I want Seth to lose to Punk at Mania. He was the MVP of last WrestleMania, and how dare you besmirch his name?
No, I don't think he loses the Punk. I mean, if the belt's on the line, it'd be interesting. It'd be tough to say, but I don't know. Rollins doesn't necessarily. I think he's at the point where he doesn't need a win or a loss either way. He's good regardless. So I don't know. We shall see. We shall see moving forward. So, Nikki, let's move on to our main event, which was the main event. A lot of Bloodline returns. A lot of Bloodline. And let's catch you up on the Bad Blood main event. back. Nikki,
Hmm.
your favorite.
Hmm.
The great one. The final boss. But he's not the only one. Nikki, take us through the main event of Bad Blood.
I shall. So, obviously, Solo Jacob versus Cody Roman, and there are some kind of side-eye looks like who's going to start, Roman or Cody, and Cody and Jacob start the match, and basically Jacob like no sells everything Cody does. And it's just like he's just such a beast for him to like basically no sell your white meat babyface champion.
Well, he no sells like everybody, like everything that he's gotten.
Yeah, no, agree. And I think again to no sell a lot of people, but then
Lisa's happy that The Rock's back. Dwayne Johnson's back.
I'm probably the only one that doesn't give a poop. Then it's kind of like the typical, like, so Cody starts, then Roman comes in for a hot second and gets the double hip attack in the corner, then the tag back, so Cody's in, and then he basically plays the babyface in peril for a while. And then he finally almost gets to Roman, and of course then Jacob pulls him down. And then he finally gets back and he tags in Roman Reigns, and then Roman Reigns goes on a tear. And then at this point, going back before he gets pulled off the apron by Jacob, and then when he's coming back, he starts like hitting the steps and getting the crowd hyped. And it's so weird now to see a babyface Roman Reigns. It's like this is the Roman Reigns Vince desperately wanted. What?
Yeah.
7 years ago? Where
15.
How old are we?
Like,
but this is the Roman Reigns we all wanted like 1,000 years ago, and now seeing him in action, like it was kind of, I don't know, surreal is a little too much of a word, but like it was crazy. Like he's hitting the like trying to get the crowd back and trying to big up Cody.
Well, absence makes the heart grow fonder. Nikki, I think you're trying to tell us something.
Oh God, what? What?
Well, I have a
what
drop
is dropping?
If I can find it, damn it. Oh, man, I can't find it. Yeah, no, I found it. I think you're trying to tell us that you're down.
Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Get out with LPP, yeah, you know me. Who's down with LPP? Every line's on me. Get out.
She's down with OTC.
I want to get that crazy. I'm just saying we've seen a heel Roman Reigns for 4 years. It's something crazy to see him back as the baby face, getting the crowd back into it. But so Cody finally tags me, gets back in, and he's like pulling some new stuff out. Like he does this. Where I lost it in my notes.
Sorry, Lisa's loving the emojis.
Okay.
She's rolling her eyes. Yay, room back. Hey, John. Show up. Sarcastic, I get it. Biggest and highest live in the world. Yes, he's back. John, are you not down with OTC? Joho's not down with you.
So Solo tries to hit the Samoan spike. He turns it into a crucifix takedown, which like, when have you ever seen Roman do that ever in the history of ever? So, that was something different. But then, of course, on the Bloodline 2.0.
Well, he has to. Well, here's the thing: he has to wrestle as a babyface. There is a difference, right? Like with babyface wrestling, you do see more high spots, high flying type stuff. There's stuff that they tell certain wrestlers not to do, and this is kind of one of those situations. But anyway, I digress. Go on.
So then, of course, the Bloodline 2.0 take the upper hand. They hit the stereo super kicks on Roman. Then he's laying in the middle of the
Universal.
ring. Hey, then Jacob does that beautiful like moonsault that he does, and then Solo hits the Uso splash, and you're like, oh my God, what's happening?
That I want to stop. That almost there wasn't so many big like hardcore spots. That might have been like a big Nick Energy moment because like that's
thought about it.
It made me consider the fact that perhaps in the future, and this might have been one of my bullet points, but I didn't write it down, that Solo and Jacob in the interim could be a tag team. Like the Wild Samoans were, because they like how the old school 90s Wild Samoans were, like they were thicker, beefier guys, like Solo and Jacob are. And it wouldn't, I could see them as a more formidable tag team like that, and Jacob eventually going on to great, solo pun, not really intended, but I guess intended solo success. See what I did there?
I don't know. I think Jacob's too good for that. And then, side note, the crowd was booing the ever-living love out of Solo. It was Solo sucks, F you Solo.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
You can't wrestle at one point. Like, no one, and like, I know Roman has said that he wanted to do this to get other family members over, and it's not getting Solo over whatsoever. Anything, like, Jacob came in and everyone, like, that's my guy. Fuck Solo.
No. Solo's getting exposed big time because even in promos, Jacob's looking really strong.
Yeah. And then he's just in the middle of it. He's like, Solo, I love you. He's just so standing there, just looks so much more charismatic, holds your attention than Solo does. But so Cody breaks up the pin, and at this point, Cody and Jacob are now outside of the ring. And Cody throws him into the ring steps, basically no sells. Then he tries to run at Cody. Cody kind of ducks out of the way. He goes through the barricade, and then Cody's trying to get his bearings, and he starts chucking chairs. And then Corey Graves yells, "He's still alive! That son of a bitch is throwing chairs."
Yeah,
Fatu is not human.
Yeah, no, they're building him up as just everything that's happening. He's taking super kicks and everything else along the way over the weeks leading up to this. Him taking himself out. It's the monster heel booking where you've seen it with Braun Strowman and Bronson Reed. It's just so different because he's in great shape, phenomenal shape. He's just more of he's slimmer and just more muscular than those guys are. But it's the same booking, in the way of you miss the spear, you go through the barricade. You have to take yourself out because you're that strong. That the only way to beat you is by yourself.
Yeah, you can't beat me. I don't want to say that. Never mind. So then Cody starts yelling at Jacob, "Stay down." Then he hits the crossroads, and then Corey starts yelling, "He's still moving." And then he basically super kicks Jacob onto the announce table. And then this is honestly my Big Nick energy moment of the evening when so this is recreating the spot at insert pay-per-view, not Bash at Berlin. Was it Bash at Berlin? SummerSlam? No, when did Jacob hurt his foot?
SummerSlam. Yeah, SummerSlam he took himself out.
They all blur together in my brains. So basically recreating the spot that took him out. So Cody climbs up to the top rope, looks at Roman, salutes him, and does the flying crossbody splash, whatever you call it.
No, the Samoan splash, I guess you want to call it that. Samoan splash. The Uso splash.
But I love that they recreated the spot, vice versa, and I love he's like, I'm out for the rest of the match, bye, and he just does it. And I think it's different for Cody to do this huge big splash halfway across the room.
Yeah.
So that is, you can stamp it, babe.
Stamp it.
Our
Big Nick energy moment of the night. Cody Rhodes' splash. Lock it in.
And then I made the joke to Lisa when they land. You know how kayfabe, but they try to grab each other's hands I'm good, you're good. But at this point, Cody was just kind of fluffing Jacob's beard. Couldn't stop laughing at it. Even again, rewatching it, he just caresses his face. But I digress. So pan back to Solo and Roman.
If I only had that drop of Mark Henry's sexual chocolate right now.
Oh God, get out of here. So pan back to Solo and Roman in the ring. They're doing the strike exchange. Of course, Roman wins that kind of back and forth battle. He sets up to he does the ooh-ahs to do the spear. And then, of course, I'm going to say GOD. They call him the Tongans. Tama and Tonga come out. Distract Roman. Solo hits the spear on Roman, kick out. And then who is this masked man in the shadows? It's no longer than Jimmy Uso coming back to save his OTC, his tribal chief. Jimmy hits super kicks on both the GOD.
Super kick party.
Super kick party. So super kicks the GOD. distracts Solo. Solo walks into a spear. 1, 2, 3. The goodies win. And then there's this beautiful, beautiful moment of Nick showing now. Jimmy gets back into the ring, and Roman's just looking at him like, you came back to me. Because, like, the promo they did 2 weeks ago, he's like, talking about the bloodline. They took Jimmy, they took my wise man, they took my Ulafala. So I feel like he's like, Santa is getting his rings back, and he's like, his first collection back is he's got Jimmy. And they have this emotional hug, and it's like, everyone rejoices.
I'm not crying, you're crying.
It's beautiful. So then they hug, then they pan to Cody in the corner holding the belt, and they kind of do like a nod and a nod, like respect, but like I hate you, but respect. And then Roman and Jimmy get out of the ring. And then Cody starts getting beat up by G.O.D. and Solo and Jacob. They're all beating Cody up. And then Jimmy's looking at Roman. They're on the ramp. It's like, oh, you said you got his back. Like, you're the OTC. You gave him his word. He's like, I'll follow you. I'll do what you do. But he's like, you gave him your word. So then Roman slaps him on the back, like, let's go. And then Jimmy goes running, and like Roman kind of has a half jog. So then like clear out the ring. And then there's the moment that Nick's showing that like the belt was on the ground. He picked it up, handed it to Cody, and it's kind of like, no,
I got you.
I got you. You're my way.
Now.
Like I saved you.
Which is what Kevin Owens has been doing for months, which we can talk about as we open up the phone line shortly. So if you want to chime in, as people are coming in here, if you want to chime in and talk about Bad Blood last night, the call-in link is in the chat. Feel free to call in and let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking about WWE Bad Blood. But keep going. Go on.
So quickly. So Roman hands Cody the belt back. Cody lifts it up. And as soon as he lifts it up, do you smell what The Rock is cooking? So his music plays. He hits the
That was the most epic version of that song. I'm going to actually record that. Now I can make that a drop.
So his music plays, he hits a people's elbow, he puts up the 1, counts to 3, puts his 2 fingers up, does that, and then walks away.
So,
cool. How much money did you get for that, bud?
Well, he's like, he's on the board. How much money? He owns like half the company now.
I feel like I'm the only person on the planet that doesn't give a shit about The Rock. Maybe it's just me in the Attitude Era that I was a Triple H girl. I didn't like The Rock. I would never like The Rock. I don't know.
We got a lot of Rock comments to get through, so
I'm
let
sorry.
me catch up.
I'm done talking.
All right, let's see. So, Universal checking in. The Rock didn't arrive to the arena until after the Drew Punk match started, which, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
Well, if it's anything like
I'm surprised it was that early.
Yeah, his movie career has kind of been like that too. They said he wasn't showing up on time. Anyway, let's see. So let's see. Universal got more. The Rock came back early for many reasons. Firstly, due to WWE's all-time record low TV ratings. Secondly, to set up War Games on 5. If War Games is 5-on-5, that would shock me. I really don't think it's going to be 5-on-5. I think it's still 4-on-4. I just don't know. Yeah, like I don't see Rock being in the War Games match.
I don't.
Rock he's the final boss. He doesn't stoop to that level.
I feel like with his career, his whatever movie he has planned or whatever, like say Cena couldn't do stuff because he was doing stuff for Peacemaker. Like I don't see him like he's just gonna be at Mania.
Yeah. I
don't see him being in a cage match.
Yeah, you have to get to The Rock.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get to him like as one of the 5 people, in my opinion. Joho, this final boss bloodline story versus the good guy is very reminiscent of the Attitude Era when Taker had his group with the higher power that just happened to be Vince versus. Yeah, no, absolutely. They find The Rock's character is the new age Vince McMahon, except he's a wrestler who can wrestle. Like that's really what it is. It's like he can go. He's one of the best to ever lace up his boots. So like in this scenario, you have someone that literally is a Hall of Fame wrestler. Yeah, it's a very, very. I mean, it's levels, right? Like it's just like the oh my gosh, the Authority storyline with Triple H. You know, Triple H was the higher boss, higher
when
power.
Seth
whatever.
became the Kingslayer.
Yeah, exactly. That whole. I mean, well, when he was part of the group, he was same thing.
Yeah, but when they broke up, and then they had that Mania match. They open and they can't
Yeah.
have the contacts.
No, exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like, but I sorry, like the years leading up to it, it's the same thing. It was you knew that if you got a match with Triple H, it was like you went through everybody, including probably the world champion that he had in this group. Universal's chiming in about the War Games match. He thinks the main event will be The Rock and the New Bloodline versus Roman, Jimmy Uso, Jay, Cody, and Orton. Interesting. Roman said no to Sammy being in the match. I don't know. That's an interesting thing. With storyline Roman saying no, or like
where
non-
did you get that from?
yeah, I'm not sure. I'm not sure where you got that.
Or is that point because Sammy took the belt off Gunther? But he makes more sense than Randy Orton.
Yeah,
If
I'm
they're
not sure.
doing like
Right.
original bloodline versus new bloodline. Like Randy Orton was taken out by the old bloodline,
Right.
and that's when he was gone for taken out for a year.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know unless he's talking about maybe storyline. But that even kayfabe storyline wouldn't.
Yeah, but
make
if now
sense
he's a
to me.
good guy, you would like the good ends on, and he's like, "Oh, I'm sorry, I was a dick to you. Like you're one of us.
Mm,
I loved you."
true. Yeah, no, that's a fair point.
Again, I don't know.
Yeah, it's a fair point. I don't know. As people come in, what do you all think of The Rock returning? Where do you think this goes? So there's a couple questions now that I have. So as we read through some of the comments and blend this in, as we open up the phone line, so feel free if you want to chime in. Phone lines are going to open up relatively soon after I ask a few more questions. So should The Rock have waited to return? Was this too soon? Like, obviously Universal touched up on it in the comments where he's, was talking about the ratings being lower. Should The Rock have waited to return? Was this the right time?
Again, I can do without him on my TV, but I think this makes sense if you're going to do something. Because I said to you originally, like, we predicted Solo and Jacob to win because where's the vice versa? Like, how do you get to War Games? Like, who wins or doesn't win, and who's going to challenge who to get you to the War Games match? So if this is saying, like, because again, like, I don't know what he put up the one, obviously, then he counted 1, 2, 3, like, I guess pinning, and then it's kind of like, I'm going to kill you? Like,
I think he was just like, you two, like, basically you're done. Like,
yeah, so, but he
'cause he's
counted
final boss.
he counted 1, 2, because he did it weird. He did 1, and then the 1, 2.
Well, no, because then his music went off. So I thought it was just more of like a.
I don't know, but
That's a
is
good
he
point.
gonna lead you into the war? Like, is he gonna? Well, that's the thing. Is it gonna be like Team Roman versus Team Rock, and then you're gonna pick your roster of people who are going to fight for you? Because I don't think.
No, Roman's competing in that match. I think Roman's in that match because he's still capable of being great in that match. So is Rock, but like he's not going to be in that match.
He's not.
But so Roman's in that match. I don't think either of them pick each other because Roman's not old enough to be like, oh my God, you're like Ric Flair's age. You need someone to represent you.
True, but I'm just trying to figure. Like, there's got to be a way to. This is getting you to War Games.
Yeah.
But we got obviously like a month and a half to get to War Games.
Lisa's got a very interesting take on The Rock. We can call it. She can do without The Rock. I don't mind watching his movies, but he's a pretty good actor. But his days there are just done. I'm done. I think the opposite. I'd rather watch him in WWE than some of his movies. But again, we ask all you: should The Rock have waited to return? Let us know in the comments. Call in. Let us know what you think about everything that happened last night at WWE Bad Blood. The other question I have for you is probably most importantly, because we kind of discussed what's next for the Bloodline saga. Like War Games, what does War Games or either Survivor or Crown Jewel look like for you?
Well, with now what Triple H announced, I think the Bloodline's going to have to take a step back because if Cody's not dropping the belt, so Cody's fighting whoever, Gunther, Sammy at Crown Jewel.
Yeah.
That's what Triple H said.
Yeah. No,
it's
yeah.
It's going to be WWE versus World.
So is there some sort of crossover that happens? Like what? There has to be something that's going to set up War Games, right? So is War Games, Universal put in the chat, like, is War Games 4-on-4? Is it 5-on-5? Could it be more? Was War Games ever more than 5-on-5? I don't remember.
That would probably have to be
I feel like there was one where there was
WCW
3
days.
teams. Yeah,
But
where
then that's
WCW
just-
did 3 teams one year.
too messy.
It could be, yeah. But I don't know. Like, where, to me, there has to be, now they just, right, they just lost, like, was Solo, is the next phase of this, like, was Solo the figurehead? Because I talked about this months ago, like, after when he first got rid of, when Solo first got rid of Jimmy, like, was he the figurehead for The Rock? Was that the idea, is that Rock's just kind of pulling the strings, the puppeteer, kind of to Joho's point with, like, the Vince McMahon higher power storyline? Was it the same thing, and he was the one pulling the strings behind this group? Because there was friction at WrestleMania between Rock and Roman, so maybe this was his way of trying to
Yeah.
take everything back.
So I guess, do you know, like, is he going after Cody? Is he going after Roman? Like, I wish I feel like they quickly showed, because Solo, the Toggins, God were in the crowd. They were up the steps. But it wasn't like Solo, like, you didn't see if Solo was, like, happy to see him, mad to see him, like, are they together, or as an acting surprise, even though you knew what was happening? I feel like there's so many unknowns right now. So I feel like you don't really know who The Rock is with, or, you know, aligned with. Because, again, you don't know if he's really with Solo. You don't know how much he is against Roman.
Yeah. Again, is he going for head of the table because that's what he wants? Like, when he first came back, that was the whole gimmick. So was this, the powers? Actually, the other thing I was thinking about this whole Bloodline saga and storyline is that, I talked about, like, the Marvel Cinematic Universe in past shows, and, like, it actually, the more I think about it, when you look back on, like, all the, especially the documentaries that we watch a lot of, like WCW back in the day, like the NWO storyline, to me, they were trying to branch it off, and, like, this could be, like, there's so many Bloodline people, like the Ulafala, or, like, this title that The Rock's carrying around, which probably could potentially replace that. I don't know. Could be its own entity for the Bloodline storyline, its own title for it. I don't love it, but now we're introducing titles for Crown Jewel, like Tony Khan was booking Crown Jewel, so I don't know. You just never know. But we want to hear from all you. What's next with the Bloodline saga? What are you thinking? What are you drinking? We're going to open up the phone lines. Nikki, are you ready?
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Yes, do it.
So this is how this works, just so that we get everything all clarified before we hit the old button. So in the description below, there's a call-in link. You click on the link, you type your name, whatever you want to be called. Some people change their name every week. We're not mentioning any names. You can call whatever you want us to call you for the show. You call in. If you keep the YouTube link up, make sure you mute the YouTube link. It's just like radio. So make sure you mute that, or else you're going to get feedback and we're going to have to cut you off. So at the bar, we don't like when we have to cut off people. So we want you all to call in below and share your thoughts on WWE Bad Blood, or really anything else you want to talk about wrestling-wise, but this show's generally geared towards Bad Blood. That being said, Nikki, I have too many things.
Good.
Videos. Phone lines are now
Okay.
open. All right. Phone lines are open. Anyone who wants to talk wrestling with us, let's see. But that being said, let's read off some comments in the interim. Universal is talking about ratings. Universal really, really likes rating. Confident in saying TK.
They're like selling out everything they do. Or is like ratings really that low, or is it just like crazy because like football's back and stuff? Like, or they're changing networks and you don't know where to find them anymore? Like, I don't know. Again, I don't look at the ratings. I really don't give it.
Yeah, it's in terms of the rate, like, I don't think it's, I mean, you're entering into football season. So the fall is always going to be that. It's going to be, you're competing with Monday Night Football on Raw. So the Raw ratings are always going to dip with Monday Night Football. This is like Hulk Hogan did that all the time, where he would just like go and leave during football season so that he'd look like a big ratings draw. And then, kind of come back at the end or during WrestleMania season so he could build it up. I don't necessarily think that the rating, like, they're going to pick back up. It always ebbs and
Yeah,
flows.
like, once we get closer to Rumble, I'm going to sneeze, I'm sorry. Maybe not.
Yeah.
But once we get to Rumble, like the road to WrestleMania, then it's going to pick
Yeah.
back up. Maybe not.
No.
No.
Just sneeze.
No, I crawled back up. Sorry.
Okay. Well, we'll leave them open for a few more minutes, or a few more, a minute or so. Doesn't look like anyone's biting tonight, but it's a Sunday evening. If you want to call in, let us know what you're thinking, what you're drinking about WWE Bad Blood. Overall thoughts, Nikki? Any final before?
I don't know. Again, I feel like I really wished, like, if The Rock wasn't coming back, could you have had Cody Roman open close with the Hell in a Cell? Or is it just because Rock's pulling I'm a board member, blue, blue, blue? And that's what I don't like. I don't like him coming in and, like, he's like, well, F Cody Rhodes, F him winning the Royal Rumble, like, we're going to main event. And, like, nobody wanted that. We all wanted Cody. You're going to call me a Cody Crybaby, whatever. I'm going to root for the guy that actually is here every week doing a thing. Like, he's got that. I don't like having an old timer come back and taking, like, you had Trish Stratus come back, and I think that was super. She had the feud with Becky and the thing. I think that was great. But if you're not putting anybody over, and you just want to be on TV for 45 minutes to hear your own voice, I have no time for you.
No, I see, like, that's where I differ with The Rock. I don't think The Rock he was born into the industry, so I think The Rock is someone who appreciates, and especially now being on the board, like, you have to be a forward thinker, right? Like, you don't want to cut off your nose. Yeah, let me say it's right. Cut off your nose to spite your face by being like, all right, well, let me not put the guy on top of. Yeah, some people do. Yeah, Kevin Nash, WCW booking, but like, it's hard. I don't think The Rock, as a third generation, maybe, as a third generation superstar, like, would put himself in that situation. He knows the value of the forward thinking that you have to put the next guy over.
Yeah,
so,
I don't think he was thinking that until after the backlash from that SmackDown segment, when Cody, like, gave up his spot at the Rumble for him, and then there was that blowback. If there was no blowback by the fans, we would have saw Roman Rock main event. 1,000%. It's the same, like, don't give
Joe Ho's disagreeing. So Joe Ho thinks unless you're Taker or Austin, you're never going to out main event The Rock.
I don't know. Then did you not like the 41 Roman Cody?
Let's see. Sorry, no, I didn't catch that comment. I don't know. I mean,
I don't know. I just don't like him coming back and.
So all right. So Joe, just to that point, Taker. I think Rock is a. Oh, this is gonna be good. Will draw, like, Rock and Austin, two biggest pops. Taker's probably third. There, I don't think, like, to your comment, I don't think Taker's gonna out pop Rock. I think it's Rock, Austin, and literally everybody else. Maybe I would argue even maybe John Cena could out pop Taker too. It'd be really close. It'd be hand in hand.
That's what you also have to figure into 2025 is you're gonna have Cena running around. I still don't know.
Yeah, there's gonna be so many stars into it. Presumably, if everyone stays healthy, that you'll see. You have CM Punk, Seth Rollins, potentially The Rock on this card, right? Like, you have Roman Reigns is going to be on this card. Gosh, like just those 4 alone could main event each night. The women, I don't think Becky will be back by then, but Rhea will be there.
Tippy Charlotte.
Yeah, if Charlotte's healthy, that's another name that could be, added to this WrestleMania card could be
Banana pants.
Yeah, super stacked. And now you add Goldberg Gunther. No?
No, I don't want it. But again, I guess it'd be really telling, obviously, if how tomorrow goes. Like, if I really don't want Sammy to be Gunther's kryptonite.
Yeah, it'd be interesting. Well, Joho's got an interesting point. He said Roman versus Cody is slowly becoming as relevant as Roman. I think there's a lot of different wrinkles in the storyline that you can still go on, and unfortunately, people talked about there's reports that they're unhappy with Cody Rhodes' reign or whatever it is. But I think a lot of that is too, Roman had a record-breaking reign because he had great foils like Cody for 2 years who was chasing him.
KO.
Yeah, and KO who did a great job. So there's a lot to having a good heel shot, and to this point, what are we now 10?
But I don't think it's Cody's fault. It's booking. If you're not going to give him any juicy feuds to stick his teeth into until Roman comes back, you're just having one-off matches with AJ Styles. How am I supposed to get behind you? If he literally said you're just having one-off matches until Roman comes back, and they're just shoving back in the bloodline stuff. Are
you ready to get into the attendance debate with Universal again?
No, I'm not. Don't give a shit, bro.
I disagree. I think Georgia had 70,000. Yeah, but I think it's a different Georgia.
You keep saying Sean Paul. I don't know who the fuck you're talking about, bro. If you're gonna talk shit, bot.
Nikki thinks you're a bot. So call into the show.
No, you're acting like you know stuff, and you keep calling him Sean Paul. So.
Levesque. Sean Paul Levesque.
Sean Paul Levesque. Sean Paul LaRue. Who's to say? Levesque.
But let's get through. Hold on. Let me get through. Ooh, take this down. So if you feel like calling in, we'll leave it open for another 30 seconds or so. That being said, let me get through my last comments. Gosh. John says because it's... Oh, I get it.
Sean Paul is not Triple H, baby. Keep talking. Go to Lisa. Let's talk to real people.
All right. So, Lisa, what about the Wyatt Six? I feel like they're being put into the back burner because of Cody, Roman, but because they're a spectacle, so to speak. If that makes sense. An attraction, not spectacle. Attraction. That's the word I want. Andre the Giant was an attraction. Big Show, they use it. I think at this point, sporadically they'll be used.
You have to have them do something on Monday because they showed the new Fiend, what should have been the new Fiend mask as a DLC character on 2K24. So I'd hope they do something with the Wyatts, at least. I don't know. Again, I agree with Lisa. I want, you start off with a bang. You start off so hot. It's the first chapter is so good, and then the middle is less than to be desired. The phrase I want to use.
Yeah. Joe, how can I miss Roman if he only goes away for 2 months? Fair point. I don't know, 2 months away. Apparently, a lot of people missed him in the 2 months.
Well, because he left, so from April to SummerSlam?
Yeah.
So
it's April's 4 to 8. So he was 3 months, 2-3 months at least. He said that's 8, Ross. Math is hard, but that's a good job, John. Actually, you know what? For that,
SmackDowns.
For knowing math, I'm proud of you. Wait, actually, I think he's Raw. There's 12 Ross. 12 Ross.
Math is still hard.
Math is still hard. You don't have to get it right the first time.
You said on commentary that 4 weeks is an eternity. So what's 12?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it'll be interesting to see. I don't know. There's a lot of story left to be told, and we shall see. So I don't know, Nikki. As we get through,
I think we've covered.
any last thoughts, last comments?
No, I think I'm good if you're good.
See,
John, we're also drinking.
I'm drinking. There we go.
Cheers.
You
babe.
joined the bar. That's why math is hard. When
Oh, you gotta
when
tell us what you're drinking.
Yeah.
Supposed to be what you're drinking, what you're thinking.
Well, it's usually the caller say that, but you can put it in the chat too. That's actually probably a better idea. But
Any Hoosies.
this has been a fun one. Fun little Sunday vibe afternoon.
Always is with you, my love.
Recapping the afternoon, well, the previous evening's
Yeah.
thing. But it's gonna be interesting. It's gonna be a fun week. We will catch you again on Friday, which is, I don't know what the date is. What's the 6th? Yeah, that's hard.
7.
The 11th?
9. Yes, no, I should flip and note that. Yes, Friday is the 11th. Also, Rhea Ripley's birthday.
Oh, good for her.
Because when she started beating up Dom with the kendo stick, she was like, "It's my like a birthday present." And I was like, "Girl, when's your birthday?"
It's my birthday.
And it's October 11th. Weird day for all.
Well, it's not Friday the 13th. But that'd be kind of nice in October with all the themes. But we've got a lot of fun themes coming up for October. Halloween. But let's take us out with Universal's favorite person.
I know, the two of you, you're horn dogs over there for over Rhea.
Ugh.
She's turning 28 on Friday.
Oh, God. John. Yes. John.
No, the two of them got it bad for Rhea.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Gotta calm him down. But
To the press conference.
we'll take us out with our not so CCO.
Paul Levesque.
John Paul.
Girl.
We got new names for everyone. Anyway, let's take us out.
Thought we had a spectacular event tonight. Very excited that so far everybody seems to have come out unscathed, banged up, bumps and bruises, but nobody seriously injured, which I always hold my breath on these events. You want to see people have the best outing that they can possibly have and make memories, but do it safely. And we were able to do that tonight.
Able to do it tonight.
Making some memories. Hopefully you made some too. Until next Friday. So we're here next Friday at 6 Eastern. Before you go, hit the like. If you're new, hit the subscribe. Fun times. We will be here back on Friday discussing the week's activities, which will probably be Raw and Dynamite. To be whatever our big 3 takeaways from Raw and Dynamite are. But until then, you do not have to go home.
But you can't stay here. Bye.